Good morning, class. So today, actually, I want first of all do some revision about the lessons that we have already learned. So let's talk about some like a revision from all the private sector business organizations. So today, starting from the sole traders and partnership first, and then social enterprises, franchises. We'll go through this revision, quick roundup, and everything. So sole traders business, we talk about the sole traders are mainly the business owned by an individual, a single person. We call a sole trader, and every entrepreneur that's mainly is doing main four roles are there. We call decision making, innovating, organizing, and risk taking. So probably you can say acronym called DO. These are the main roles of entrepreneurs. They are innovators, they are organizers, and decision makers and risk takers. And on that, we talk about these two concepts. Some business organizations are unincorporated, which means there is no legal difference between owner and the business, and some businesses are incorporated where business has separate legal identity from their owners, such as like a limited companies, right? So first of all, we talk about the sole trader. The sole trader is a person, the business organization owned by single person. Sole traders have some features like unlimited liability, and they are unincorporated, and they have the flexibility, the decision making skills, and everything like can do it very fastly, because there is no other to control you. So sole trader, we look at the advantage disadvantages. Owner kept all the profit. Hmm? And they are independent. Owners has complete control. Okay? And another solid advantage is simple, legal control, flexibility. That means can adapt to a change to any quickly. You can adapt to any situation. Can offer personal service because they are small and may qualify for government help. These things are there. However, there are disadvantages of the sole trader. Mainly, sole traders have unlimited liability. You are doing business alone, like one man. Then the organization may struggle to raise money because there is no one to lend you money, too risky to those lend money. And also, independence may be too much of a responsibility for an organization because you can't take holiday, you can't take any you can't go to any event because you are close to business. Long hours and hard working and usually too small to exploit economies of scale. You can't because you can't do bulk purchase and you don't have your house facilities. You can't hire a lot of staff members because you can't pay that much of salaries and no continuation of the business because business dies. Those things are there. So, and we talk about the partnership also. Today, actually, just quick roundup I'm going to do today. So, first we'll talk about the mainly sole traders advantage disadvantage. Okay, let's do a partnership discussion. The partnership mean any organization can see a big business owned by 2 to 20 people, to 2 to 20 people. So partnership organizations normally they are running with the organization. Like deed of partnership is there for an organization. They have deed of partnership, which is like a bond, like an agreement they are using. So partnership deed is the main document which controls the partnership. It is a binding legal document that states the formal rights of the partners, guys. And this document it says about how much capital they are investing and how much profits and losses they are going to share, and how much the procedure to ending the business, and how much control each partner has, and rules of taking new partners, such as these most important things are there in this document. Okay, and we talk about of the partnership organization main advantages and disadvantages. Main advantage of partnership business is easy to set up and run, no legal formalities, and the partners can be specialized in the area of expertise that is there. So partners can be a different expertise people, like sometimes a different area of specialization, specialized doctors, specialized engineers, specialized lawyers, specialized accountants. So this area of expertise, you can use it for the business purpose, and the job of running the business is shared. You can't no need to do it alone because you can run the shared liabilities there, shared ownership. Therefore, you can share the responsibility. Therefore, your workload will reduce, and more capital can be raised. Like 2 to 20 people are there, so they have you can bring more capital to the business from them, and financial information has to not publish. That's another advantage. The limited companies at PLC level, we talk about financial information always has to publish, right? I go through a few financial statements also. It's readily available to anyone, but here partnership business not like that. They are not available. It's private information. However, there are disadvantages. Partners have unlimited liability, which is again business bankrupt, every partner is liable to pay to settle the debts from their personal belongings. If the business asset is not enough, the remaining liabilities has to be settled by their personal belongings. That is there, and also profits has to be shared. And partners may disagree and follow the friction between partners. There is another disadvantage of partnership, and all partners' decision is legally binding. All, and also partnership will still tend to be small organization. They don't have like a, again, not like private companies or public company. Expansion and the development of the business is still very limited. It's very hard to raise capital sometimes from banks and everything, right? And after that, we talk about there's another exception of partnership called limited partnership. Sometimes, if you want to join a partnership as a limited partner, you can do it. There's called limited partnership available. In that case, you can join to the partnership organization as a limited partner. Then your personal assets will be not penalized. In case of business bankrupt, your assets will be protected. You are liable only up to investment. We talk about that. So now, so far we talk about a quick revision about the two forms of business organization, sole trade organizations and partnership organization. Okay, and talk about the other lesson we talk about is a franchise business. So this revision program, you can find out this every model is organization going like a step by step. First level sole trader, and then partnership, and they are going to next level the franchise business, which is even one person. If you have money, if you have the capacity and resources, you can apply for franchise license and you can operate that business under that license. So this is franchise agreement. You can see which is a business. It's a structure of business. Yeah, franchisor actually allowing another operator called franchisee to trade under their business logo, business model they are giving on license basis. So they are bound to actually approve and they are bound to follow the guidelines given by the franchisor. They can only sell the things in the agreement only. Out of the agreement, they can't do anything because they can they can cancel the license at any time. So franchisee agreement you can see in Sri Lanka. Like McDonald's is a franchisor, Abans is a franchisee. Like you can see KFC is a franchisor and Cargill is a franchisee. Like that, you can see those agreements are there. And Burger King is a franchisor, Softlogic is a franchisee. Like that, we can see like this is the agreement. So they Burger King, KFC, McDonald's, everything they are world famous fast food franchises. They are giving their license to operate someone in those countries under their business name. So mainly they are getting at the end so some royalty income. So franchise mean you can see they are giving license and trade their recognized name, startup package they are giving, the essential equipment and like McDonald's you can see the bench and everything that their logo and sign and designs and name boards everything. Training on the workers and the materials equipment, the fryers and deep fryers, refrigerators and cash disk registers, everything. And marketing support, right? International marketing can be organized and also an exclusive geographical area to operate. They are giving, okay. So on say island wide, only Sri Lanka, you are the agent. So others they are not allowing to do that business. And in return, franchise agreement. You have to pay these things like one-off startup fee, an ongoing fee, usually based on sales and contribution to marketing, and also a franchisor may make a profit on some materials and equipment and merchandise supplies to franchise. These are the things a franchisor in return, franchisee has to pay for the franchisor. And mainly what are the advantages and disadvantages of franchise business we'll see. These are the main pros and cons, advantage and disadvantage of this business. You can see franchisee advantages, you can see low risk of business failure because it's tried and tested, and backup support is given from the big organization like USA based company. Setup costs are predictable, and national marketing advertising can be organized. These are the main advantages. There are disadvantages as well, like profit is shared with the franchisor. Profit is shared, and strict contracts you have to sign. Lack of independence, strict operating rules can apply, and can be expensive way to start a business. These are the things. These are the advantages to franchise. So, the mean the say McDonald's, KFC, Pizza Hut, Domino's, Burger King, right? Advantage of franchisor, fast method of growth, cheap method of growth. Franchisees take some of the risk of the business because you can spread the risk of the franchise business organization to the franchisee. They know the country risk, economic risk, cultural risk, social risk, pressure group, everything. The people in Sri Lanka, they can manage everything. So US business, they don't need to care about the economic risk and the country risk and everything, because they know companies like Abans and Softlogic and Cargill and all these companies, they can manage the country risk. Franchises are more motivated than employees. Another thing, a franchise is always thinking, if I start a business my own, I don't think my workers are that much motivated, because it's working for a foreign company. But here, franchisee are more motivated than the employees, because franchisee thinks, okay, Abbas thinking, okay, McDonald's is belongs to me. Cargill's thinking, okay, KFC belongs to me, it is my business. Right? Softlogic thinking, okay, Burger King belongs to me, Baskin Robbins belongs to me, therefore it is my business. Rather, they're more motivated and they are doing business better than their franchises. Try to do it better than, give a good, very good service, excellent service. That's another advantage. However, there are disadvantages as well. Look at this. Potential profits has to be shared. If you operate, 100% profit belongs to you, but here the profit has to be shared. Earlier, you are getting only 90% return only. At that situation, this is bad. Hmm? Poor franchise may damage the brand reputation, right? Poor franchises, for example, we found out the like worms in the KFC. Then, as a result of that, what happened? Entire Sri Lanka, everywhere, the people actually they stopped going to KFC that time. Okay, because that poor franchise may damage the reputation. One small mistake is enough. Entire brand reputation, brand name can be spoiled. Franchises may get merchandise from elsewhere. They can purchase the sauce bottles, their you can see lettuce and vegetables and all that thing from outside. They don't need to import from USA. They can import from Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan retailers are there who supply these things. So this can be a threat, because always in agreement say, if you start my McDonald's, all my ingredients, all the ketchup, all the packaging, everything, raw materials, everything you have to import from USA. But there's some restaurants are there, some franchisees they are supplying these things from Sri Lanka because it's cheaper than importing. And cost of supporting franchises may be high sometimes. That was fair to accept. So that's third part of the business organization. Talk about uh, franchises. Okay. And talk about finally a social enterprise. A social enterprise is an organization where uh, with the objective of not to make profit. This is the fourth type of organization today in my revision program. You can see we talk about sole traders so far, partnerships we talk about franchise business model, and other business model that we talk about is the social enterprise. Social enterprise business organization, you can see, is a business that aims to improve the human or environment well-being. Hmm? Like charities, for example, you can see social and environmental well-being. Sometimes social means in social groups are there, for example, Interact clubs, Rotary Club, Lions Club, something like that. Or environmental organization, animal welfare organizations who protect the organization, like an environment, let's say Greenpeace organization, and let's say Oxfam organization, okay? And World Vision organization. So different NGO, non-government organizations are there, and private sector organizations, which is their main objective is not to earn profit but to improve the social welfare and the environmental welfare. You can see sometimes clubs and societies are coming under this. You can see these clubs and societies sometimes they are earning large amount of money, right? But mainly organization like this, uh, mainly their objective is different from the profitable organization, because their main objective is a good cause. Sometimes to promote the sport, so cricket clubs, SCC, NCC, CCC, Tamil Union, Colts, Sinhala Sports Club, like that. So and also Otters Club, Swimming Club, and NCC. You have so much of examples are these social enterprises. So mainly they are clear. Look at the features of this. Is have a clear social environmental mission. Generate more of their income through the trade donations, trade or donations. Invest most of their profit, reinvesting. They have fixed deposit they are maintaining. A major control in the majority control by the interests of the social mission, and are accountable and transparent. These things are there. And social enterprises maybe take variety of forms. You can see like cooperatives, consumer cooperatives, retail cooperatives. They are owned and controlled by their members, and members can buy shares which are entitled them to elect directors to make key decisions. Any profit made by the cooperatives given to members. These things are there. Associations with like social enterprise, a new part of the business studies, which was not there in the previous syllabus. But here, talk about the social enterprise mean a new part because there are so much of associations, clubs, and societies, and associations are there, and they also have money they generated mainly from members, member fees, and from donations and everything. They are calculating all that thing. So these are the main things. So mainly there are workers cooperative, charities are there. So much of charities are there. Charity organization, you can see world famous one. You can see um, Greenpeace organization, Red Cross organization, like different charities. UK, no, is a Age UK is a charity. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, world's biggest, no? Amazon. They have owned that Jeff Bezos Foundation, like that. So different, the Mark Zuckerberg Foundation for rich people in the world, they actually make their own donation funds for the good cause. So these organizations are accountable and transparent for everyone. You can see Save the Children is another charity organization in the world. You can see there. So that's all about the four. Now we talk about those four in that lesson. Sole traders, um, partnership, franchise, and social enterprises. Okay. And after we talk about, guys, the limited companies. So limited companies mainly we talk about the two different liability, different companies, private limited companies and public limited companies. And we talk about multinationals also at the features at the end. So this week only I'm going to start the multinational, like a big company, the big features and everything. I'm going to start the multinationals on this week, and then limited liability companies we talk about. There are two companies are there, private limited companies and public limited companies. So you can see mainly the private limited companies, features of limited companies, whatever it is, the private or public, limited companies have these features. You can see limited liability. Business raise capital by selling shares, right? Shares, they have called shares, not the owner's capital, they call share capital. And third one, the shareholders elect directors to run the company. There's election, you can see, and where sole traders are partnerships and pay income tax. So like not like sole traders and partnership, they have to pay income tax, they have to pay company corporation tax, you have to pay on their profits. So this taxation for registration of a value-added tax, VAT and everything are compulsory. And to form a limited company, it is necessary to follow the legal procedure. This is outlined below. You can see the limited liability companies are, these are the main features. Limited company, raising capital by selling shares, and shareholders elect directors to run the company. So this company owned by shareholders but run by directors. Directors also shareholders sometimes, called managing director. Sometimes the owner who has most of the shares, we call majority of the shares, we call chairman, like that. Okay, when you're forming a limited company, even the last lesson as I told you, we had to obtain a license. We call certificate of incorporation. Certificate of incorporation. I show you that one during the last lesson. It's like a trading certificate that you have to take that license to operate. Certificate of incorporation. It's like a similar to a birth certificate of a individual. So certificate of incorporation is the document need to before the company can start doing business. So in order to obtain this license, you have to support two main documents. Talk about that also. These are mainly we call AOA and MOA, Articles of Association and Memorandum of Association. That day I took the one company and then I show you what is their Articles and Association and Memorandum of Association. There we not that the Memorandum of Association is all about the like a details of the company, name, address, and the directors' names and address, the directors' consent in writing, secretary's consent in writing, company objectives and everything, name of the company, address of the company, objectives of the company, amount of capital to be raised, with a brief summary of the general information. And AOA, but we talk about so much of legal words are there, like document, it's like an almanac, it's like a constitution of the company, which states all the procedure, how to appoint directors, how to resign directors, how to appoint chairman, how to resign the board of directors, how to appoint the auditor, how to appoint the directors, how to appoint secretary, everything, all the legal procedure, how to call meeting, how to dissolve the company, how to change the name of the business, everything in detail, one by one, they have mentioned. It's mainly prepared by a lawyer because normal people, ordinary shareholders, normal people, they can't prepare. There's a set of formats are there, articles. So you have to follow, you have to take the hire a service of the company lawyer for this situation. So you have to pay, and then this normally cost a little bit of money. I told you in Sri Lanka mainly, you have to pay around 15,000 to like a different prices are there for certain documents, certain things you have to charge. But after you filling only these documents only, you can get the obtain the registration. So in Sri Lanka, this registration and everything will take at least 1 week, right? So this depend on country to country, right? This will be in USA. Sometimes it's 1 day service, company registration. So like that. So depends on the situation and the all the if you have all the documents ready, we can do it within like a Sri Lanka also within 3 days, 4 days maximum. You can do this thing. But that's why ease of starting business must be there. Main two documents you should keep in mind: AOA and MOA, and the contents come after that, right? Private limited companies, we can start with that. So the first limited company is a private limited company. Because the definition of the private company, you can see in the UK, a private company limited by shares, which means the liability of the shareholders is to creditors of the company is limited to the capital originally invested. The shareholder personally assets are protected and with limited after its name. Other countries have similar arrangement with the different letters after the company name. Like German, they're using GmbH, Polish, they're using SP, ZUU, and Czech Republic, they're using SRO, Italia, they're using SRL, and Slovakia, they're using SRO. Right? Mainly UK, we're using PLC or LLC, Limited Liability Company. Sri Lanka, we are using LTD. Okay, so mainly private limited company is a limited company owned by friends and family members. You can see it can be owned by one person, or it can be done by husband and wife, right? So these are the main features. Name means with the LTD, shares can be transferred privately. It's a time-consuming process to transfer your shares to someone, and then owned by family business, and directors of this company tend to be shareholders involved in the running business. So these are the main advantages of the limited companies. We talk about this. Shareholders have a limited liability advantage. More capital can be raised, another advantage. Control cannot be lost to outsiders, another advantage, because not like in share market, you're not operating in share market. Therefore, no one can buy your shares. Therefore, there is no risk of losing control. And also, business continues if shareholder dies and has more status, for example, than a sole trader, you have more status. That case, public profile is there. However, there are drawbacks, limitations also. But things, financial information has to be made public, and cost of money, and it takes time to set up. It actually costs a lot of money and time to set up the company. Not like sole traders partnership, you can just set up it in like this. But company not like that. It takes some time and money. Profits are shared between more members as a dividend. You can see profits has to be divided among members and take time to transfer shares to new owners, and cannot raise huge amount of money like PLC. These are the drawbacks of the private limited company. So you should know at least two advantages, two disadvantages of this model, right? Okay, then you are moving on to the other form of organization, the public limited companies. Public limited company is in the company hierarchy, the highest level. Public limited company. That means a private limited company, they are getting some promotion. Private company, they are going to share market. Every country there's a share market. Sri Lanka we have called Colombo Stock Exchange. America we call New York Stock Exchange. China they call Beijing Stock Exchange. India they call Mumbai Stock Exchange. UK they call London Stock Exchange. Like that, every country with the capital city, they build this model. Companies they can go and list. They call it issue of shares. A lot of people are public. They like to buy those shares. They say we can buy that. We are issuing shares at 10 rupees each, and after certain time they can sell that thing for a higher price. So that's the gain if you're investing in share market, uh, right? For example, I bought a share of Dialog company 10 years ago for 7 rupees. Now that share price was trading around 14 rupees or 10 rupees right now. That means after holding the shares, I can sell that shares for a higher price, like buying a land. You can buy the land just now for let's say 10 million, hold it for like 5 years, then value will increase. Then you can sell that land for a higher price. That's the share market also say. Share market also, you can buy the shares right now, right? Hold the shares for like a couple of years or a couple of months sometimes. Share market sometimes within one day, share market value goes up like that. Land price is going little slowly, slowly, slowly. But share price is going up and down also silently. That's the beauty of share market, right? For example, yesterday the one company, like the Carson's company, it was there trading around 250. After 2 days, what happened? Then what happened? Then the share price went up by 19 rupees, 20 rupees. Now selling around 270. Then how? What's the capital gain? 20 rupees gain over one share. Imagine if you invest in like a 1 million, 1 million shares you go. So invest to how much? 25 million invest, and you can sell within one day. After one day, you can sell for, or 2 days you can sell for how much? 27 million. Within one day, how much you earn? 2 million. That's how share markets operate. Within one day, even one person, 1 rupee margin, 2 rupee margin, 3 rupee margin, 10 rupee margin sometimes, 5 rupee margins. If you have a large number of shares, like a block, right, 1 lakh shares, then you can think about the quantity that you are buying and the amount of profit that you get. It's like investing in land. When you buying a land also, land you can purchase. There are legal fees are there. Share market also there are some fees are there, like stock broker fees you have to pay. So anyway, when you're going to share market, there are certain thing we call separate name we call going public or flotation. In flotation, this is the main we call this expensive. I show you like prospectus. It will show you Sri Lanka like a is a prospective. The company had to prepare prospectus. Prospectus is like an introductory document, like invitation to offer, and it is legally correct and it should be prepared by lawyers. It's expensive to prepare and circulate, should be done. Prospectus has to be printed and circulated, yes. Promotion part you have to do, and then a bank may be paid process of share applications. Banker is the one who processing the share application. There's a fee involved for this, and a company must insure against the possibility of some shares remaining unsold. Therefore, a fee is paid to an underwriter who must buy an unsold shares. These things are there. A company must insure against the possibility of some shares remaining unsold. These things are there. And also, there are advertising and administrative expenses. These things also there. Advertisements you have to do, administrative expenses you have to do. And PAC must have, this is UK. Don't confuse, not in Sri Lanka or other countries. UK, minimum capital is 50,000 pounds. 50,000 pounds is a large amount in UK terms. Sri Lanka terms like about approximately 70 million. 70 million. If you have to multiply by 2 to it. 70 million. So Sri Lanka minimum capital I think is 100 million. Right? More than 50,000 then 100 million capital you must need to go to share market. Okay, this is here we go. The advantages, guys. Advantage, disadvantage of limited company you can see quickly. The advantages of limited companies, you can see public limited companies. Large amount of capital can be raised. Shareholders have limited liability. PLCs can exploit economies of scale, right? Economies of scale can be exploited. And also, economies of scale means like operating at large scale, bulk purchase discount, employees you can operate like so much of like good employees you can recruit. And also may have to be, maybe able to dominate the market. Shares can bought and sold very easily and may have a very high profile in the media. These things are there, high profile in the media. However, there are disadvantages of public limited companies. What are disadvantages? Setup cost can be very expensive. Public limited companies. Yes, we talk about that. Setting up process will be costly and time consuming. Outsiders also can. That's the biggest disadvantage, drawback. Risk of losing control. Why? Anyone can slowly pick up your shares. Daily basis, let's say 1,000, 1 lakh, 1 lakh, whatever. One day they will be, definitely they can, whatever. At least having a 5% enough. 5%, 10%. You can be a director, you can enter into the board of directors, then whatever. Then your competitor is sitting with you, right? Your business rival is sitting with you. Can you take a decision? No. this is happening. So normally organizations, they are indirectly like to acquire a business like that, because there are so much of big investors are looking to invest in both companies. A lot of companies, outsiders can take the control by buying shares, and more financial information has to be made public, and maybe more remote from the customers, and more regulatory control over into the companies act. A lot of regulatory control, and finally managers may take control rather than the owner. Owner shareholders can't access to the company. Only managers can access. They will run the organization, they will give the profit. They decide their salaries, manager salaries, and at the end shareholders getting only few small dividend. Okay. And we talk about finally the features of multinational company, right? So multinational company, a big lesson we have to do, right? So features of multinational company, mainly we're talking about the main feature, the definition of multinational company, like Unilever, like Nestle company, and then like Coca-Cola, Honda, Toyota, Tata. These are multinational companies. But looking at this company, you can see these are world famous, right? Huge asset base. Every country they're operating. Example, look at the Tata Group. They earn like last 2016 financial year they earn 100 billion US dollar net income, right? So everything you can see they have all the steel and manufacturing, Tata Steel, Tata Motors, hotels like Taj Hotel, Sri Lanka also Taj Samudra owned by Tata Group, right? Like that's a Tata company. It's a big company in the world, right? And so much of other companies, so much of companies are there. So Tata Research, Tata Steel, Tata Motors, and they have a Jaguar Land Rover. They bought that company, acquired, right? Owned by Tata. Okay, so this big business. Coca-Cola, every country they are daily selling 2 billion bottles. Imagine the income they are earning per day. Big companies. So huge asset is a feature. So definition of is very important. A large business with significant production or service operation in at least two different countries. Large business with significant production or service operation in at least two different countries. Right? So first one, you can see the features. Huge asset base is there, right? Mainly land, buildings, machinery. Huge asset base is there. Collection of assets. Highly qualified and experienced professional staff members are there because they pay a lot of salaries for them. They are recruiting them. So as a result of them, a lot of good qualified people are willing to work in the multinational companies. Like HSBC company, imagine the nice culture. Can work on international Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation. Hmm? Powerful advertising and marketing capability. That is the powerful advertising and marketing. Highly advanced and up-to-date technology. Highly advanced, up-to-date technology. And highly influential both economically and politically. These things are there. Highly influential, sometimes even they can influence the government also. Right? Okay. We talk about mainly, these are the main things that we talk about. And also, last two features you can see, very efficient. They can expert economics of scale, very efficient, right? They know everything, the benchmark, the production management, they have historical information. They don't need to find another benchmark. They are the benchmark, they are the market leader. Ownership and control is centered to the host country. These things are there. So these are the main advantages of the multinational company. And guys, after that, I started the other lesson called public corporations. We talk about this public corporation lesson. So we can actually have a quick revision of that lesson as well today. So we talk about so far sole traders, we talk about partnership, we talk about franchise business, we talk about social enterprises, and we talk about private limited companies, public limited companies, and features of multinational companies. So first 7 types of organization introduced. This is a 8th type of organization, the business organizations owned by the government or public sector. Right? So you can see main features of these things. We talk about public corporations like ministries or like a government, schools, government. You can see transport, everything owned by government, like health and everything. So main features you can see. Talk about state ownership is there, and also created by law, act of the parliament is there, and incorporation, the legal personality is there, a separate legal control. If the minister dies or employee dies, nothing happens because it will be a continue for a long time. Doesn't matter who owns it or who actually runs it. business will be there forever. And then state funded, there is funded from the treasury of the government, from the tax money, and also provide public services, health, education, up to universities, and also the defense, public defense, all that thing, and also the public transport service, everything, hospitals and everything, operations, surgeries, everything state funded, and provide public services for the organization, provide public services like Air India, provide international air transportation, everything, and also television. Sri Lanka, also we have Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, like that. These things are there, and public accountability. All of these organizations are accountable. Their accounts and everything they have to show to the parliament. Parliament means it's a representation of the public, representation of the country. So I have to show these documents and reports and everything, financial information to the parliament. But most of the these government-owned businesses are loss making because they can't profit making businesses is actually very rare, because government organization anyway, you can see their main objective is public welfare. If you're providing a welfare, how can you earn a profit? In a hospital, how can you earn profit? But look at the Arsenal Hospital, Navalok Hospital, how much profit they are earning. For surgery, how much they are charging. For checkup, if you hospitalize, how much they are charging. Around 1 lakh, right? But public services, public hospital, do you think they charging? No, they are not charging any amount. Everything free of charge. So how can they earn a profit? It's loss making, right? So you'll see these are the main features, and also we talk about why we need public corporations and what are the good side and bad side of the public corporations. We talk about the reasons for the public corporations. We talk about to avoid wasteful duplication, we need public corporations. To maintain control strategic industries, we need public corporations, like such as like aviation, airports, harbor, we need, and also we harbor, port city, airports and everything, and also highways and everything to maintain. So, like very important strategic points, industries in Sri Lanka and in your country, we need to maintain do this by public corporations, and also save jobs. We need public corporations, because when private sector comes, they always cut costs by reducing labor, but then unemployment will create. But this organization government is there. You can see Sri Lanka is recently they have provided job opportunities for 160,000 people, graduates, and the other people also in the list. So if you are unemployed, you can go and register, and then the government will give you a job opportunity for you to work and fill the gaps left by the private sector. Sometimes private sector are reluctant to invest in some areas, like they don't want to provide a bus from a particular route if there is not enough passengers to go. But private sector, they are not put in that bus because they can't earn that much of profit. Sometimes there's not enough passengers in that road. For example, for about 10, 15 passengers only. The bus normally have more than 35, 50 seats we have. So even you can't find a good amount of money for the seat, it's not filled. So, but government buses are not like that. They are, even though with or without passengers, sometimes midnight, only driver and the conductor only, you can see they are going in some routes to provide the service. So fill the gaps left by the private sector. And finally, serve unprofitable regions. Some rural areas, sometimes you can see there is no supermarkets. There is no like Apico and Kiehl's and all that luxury things and to buy. But government organization, you can see they have their own supermarket called Satosa or CW. They have own our Hope cities and everything. The government owned shops are there in those areas. They are reluctant to go because the people are poor and they don't have enough resources are there, mainly primary, like private sector reluctant to invest sometimes because of the lack of infrastructure, lack of income of those people, they don't like to invest. But so to serve unprofitable region, government always actually looking forward to serve these areas. Okay, reasons against the public ownership. Some people criticize public sector because of these disadvantage limitations. Number one, cost to the government. I told you this is there's a cost to the government to maintain this. Like subsidies you have to always provide, so concession you have to provide. It's a huge cost. Sometimes in a Sri Lanka cancer hospital, sometimes for one patient, sometimes government spending 1 million per day. You don't know, you might know this, for their treatments, for their vaccines, for their injections and all their medicines. Sometimes 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs per day they are spending for one life. So this is that's why cost to the government. So it is huge expenses you have to pay for those hospitals and everything. Eye hospitals there, right? They're doing heart surgeries, everything. Best doctors in the country, they're doing it. So it's a cost to the government. And sometimes inefficient. Some areas, not everywhere, but some government or public corporations are inefficient. Sometimes, inefficiency means in terms of the providing, like it's criticized by the poor reliable, the quality is low. When you go to take some service, it will take some time, delay, right? Like for example, when you want to make a house, you have to approve the plan, but planning approval thing will take some time. So this time consuming. So it takes some time. The meetings will be have to have for one signature. Sometimes you have to go like a few couple of times. Sometimes 10, 15 times you have to go to meet the right minister or a right secretary of the organization to get the signature. These kind of things are there. So it's reduced the efficiency of the country, the productivity, delaying the projects, delaying everything. So inefficiency is a very bad drawback of this public sector. Even private sector sometimes they have inefficiency, but government sector this is too much because there is no one to look after, there is no one to supervise. That's why there is no motivation to people to work hard. That's why sometimes low salaries or maybe due to lack of motivation, this can be will be the reason for the inefficiency of them. And also another limitation of the government sector, we talk about mainly the political influence. Yeah, the corruption and political influence, the taking bribes, the political interference always, the different people influencing the organization, the managers and all directors and everything. And so these people will influence and they put their people to the organization, to employees and everything. So sometimes excess staff will be there as a result of that, and taking bribes and everything. So some lot of incidents are there, especially in Asian countries, India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan is really high. And finally, the difficult to control. Sometimes government, you can see thousands of people are working in one department. So it's difficult to control. They have unions. Sometimes unions are more powerful. Sometimes not only single union, multiple unions. They're not letting to do anything with the government. So this is the difficulty of control. Is they're not like private sector. Public sector is a bit difficult to control in terms of their assets, physical asset quantity, labor wise, geographical area wise. They have huge branches island wide. Therefore, there's a difficulty of controlling. Okay, and finally talk about the privatization, guys. The privatization means the transfer of public sector resources to private sector. This is, we can see, a solution to reduce those criticisms, to make the public sector efficient, to make the public sector more productive, to reduce the inefficiencies. So this is a solution: privatize, give to private sector person. He will be doing this thing. So this is the main methods of privatization: selling public corporation for money, deregulation, reducing the rules and regulation where private sector can come, contracting out, outsource some parts. You can see like a garbage collection, security part, all that thing we can, or canteen, inside the government schools or hospitals, universities, canteen we can privatize, give to private sector person to operate. Right? Like that. These things can be do contracting out and sale of land and property. These things can be done. So normally you can see for foreigners sometimes they are selling lands these days. Why does privatization take place? These are main causes for privatization: to generate income to the government and to reduce inefficiency in the public. So that's how they justify how privatization is important, how why they are doing this and everything, to reduce inefficiency and generate income. And finally, as a result of deregulation and reduce the political interference. Sometimes they say these are the main reasons to avoid that limitations. They are telling, okay, privatization is best. You see privatization revenue of the different countries during the 2007. Okay, so public sector organization is like that. And finally, we talk about the last week. We talked about the, actually we started this topic, appropriate of different forms of ownership, and that we talk about if different organizations need, for example, if you want to keep the control with you. So we talk about these factors. I think we finally talk about factors affecting the appropriate of different organization: the growth, size of the organization, the need for finance, control, and limited liability. These are the factors you have to looking forward before you started a company like that. And if you want to grow fast, I think better to be a PLC, a private company. Size, same thing. If you want to have a small size business, sole trade is best. If you want to have a large business, go for a private company, a public company. Financing also same. If you need a large financing, go to PLC level. You can check large amount of money you can collect. Controlling power, you want to vest the control with your family members, private business is good or sole trader is good. If you want to have like a large control, public limited company is good. Limited liability, definitely you have to start a private company or public company. These we talk about the our lessons. Mainly talk about 8 tasks. So today, actually, my main lesson objective is mainly to find out to recap all our lessons again. I think it's better. I think you can refresh all your memory again and again. It's better. So let's meet on tomorrow, yeah, next day, so that we can actually talk about more about this thing, this lesson, appropriateness. How the business organization select appropriate business organization when you're starting a business, right? Other factors also there, like type of activities they are doing, the nature of the business, the way the business plans to utilize their profit, uh, and different stakeholders such as employees and shareholders influence the choice of organizing sometimes. These things are there. So we'll talk about a small chapter and we can talk about that thing. It's a small chapter, actually almost done with the chapter. You can see objectives and types of the organization sometimes. Like small and sole traders might have a small objective, modest profit, like bread and butter business, small organization, you have small paddy, small shop, sole trader is best. But if you have objective to a, like a large, huge profit maximization, then you can go to a public limited company. But some sole traders have an objective called profit satisfying, like having enough profit to maintain, just to find the daily bread and butter. Right? Family business and other medium-sized private company, they will like to have the family ownership. Then private business is the best. And most multinationals want to grow. The multinational companies, they want to be bigger and bigger, and they want to dominate the entire global markets. Therefore, like McDonald's and everything. So it's better to actually have like a MNC level. So these are the other objectives. That's also important. Sometimes profit satisfying objective, family business like a medium-sized objective, and multinational objectives. They have difference in profit satisfying, right? Business expansion and growth. Here, multinational company again increase the market share and expansion and everything, right? So these are the topics that we talk about. Everything we recap. I think very productive lesson today. So if actually anyone who didn't catch up the lesson, so this lesson will be available again in our Google Classroom. So so you can see, guys. So